I'm going to play for you a video of White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki talking about the Biden administration's plan to tackle the student loan debt crisis that plagues this country.
The president has and continues to support canceling $10,000 of federal student loan debt per person as a response to the COVID crisis. He's calling on Congress to draft the proposal, and if it is passed and sent to his desk, he will look forward to signing it. Debt relief is, of course, an important priority for the president. On day one, the first day of his administration, he directed the Department of Education to extend the existing pause on student loan payments and interest for millions of Americans with federal student loans. That was a step he took through executive action, but he certainly supports efforts by members in Congress to take additional steps, and he would look forward to signing it.
So he would do that through legislation and not an EO, not an executive order?
Well, I think he already took a step through an executive action on the first day, and he would look to Congress to take the next steps.
Now, hopefully you've had enough time to watch and digest that garbage. So let's get into it. First and foremost, she says that they're only going to cancel up to $10,000. Allow me to just say, I agree with any kind of cancellation of student loan debt, but there's only one correct way to go about it that actually solves the problem, and that's canceling all of it. But in classic neoliberal fashion, she says that they are thinking about doing 10K. Chuck Schumer wants 50K. Chuck Schumer, he's no progressive, he's no lefty, wants 50K shaved off. Not only that, but they won't even do it by executive order. They want to do it through Congress. It's not going to pass. It's not going to. I don't care if it's 10K, 5K, it could be 1K. It's not going to pass through Congress. Okay? Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a college student. Okay? I've been attending university for over 3 years now. I'm in my 4th year. Do you know how much it costs each semester for me to attend my institution? Almost $10,000. It's not quite $10,000. I might be $2,000 or $3,000 off, but that's around the ballpark of $10,000. You know, this is a huge problem that doesn't get talked about enough, and it doesn't seem like our political leaders are, I don't want to say equipped, because they can solve this problem, but there's no motivation to do so. And let's talk about Joe Biden for a second. Joe Biden is a guy that has made plenty of mistakes in his career. And 2 of those mistakes are right here in front of our faces right now. 1, he's the reason that you can't file for bankruptcy on your student loans. Thank him for that. 2, he's the author of the crime bill. Last year was the year of Black Lives Matter. You can, I want to say knock out, 2 birds with 1 stone here, but you can solve 2 great problems by just wiping out student loan debt. Let me read you a couple of statistics here. Black college students are the most likely to use federal loans. Black college students, 30% of black college students with student loans default in the first 12 years of repayment. 4 years after graduation, 48% of black students owe an average of 12.5% more than they borrowed. You can help out a lot of young black people with this. A lot of black people in general with this. Millions. You can help out a lot of people that previously couldn't file for bankruptcy on their student loans that are, held down by these student loans. You release them from that debt-ridden life that they're living right now. They can go out and buy that car. They can finally move into that house. They can finally have kids. They can finally get married. They can do a plethora of things, and all that money will be going right back into the economy, or sort of trickle up economics instead of trickle down, because we know it never trickles down. It never does. We've seen it plenty of times. It never happens. Okay? And I will say that this issue is honestly uniquely set to America. In other countries, European countries such as Germany, France, Italy, they don't impose this sort of tragic situation on their population. Hip hop, don't stop. But not like they don't do that. College costs very little, if not anything, in those countries. I'm talking of like a couple $100 a semester, maybe, if that, and that might just be on books. But here we charge thousands of dollars, and it's not just how much we charge. It's, it could be a plethora of things. You're not paying individuals enough money. Their parents or the students themselves they don't have the wages to pay for this, this high tuition that they're charging. Scholarships aren't that readily available for students. There's a plenty of reasons institution officials being paid way too much money. There's so much that goes into this, but there's an easy solution. Just wipe it all out. And there was a guy that wanted to do so. There was a guy that wanted to do so. And especially in this pandemic, when we're seeing people lose their health care, going bankrupt from medical bills, people that are underinsured, uninsured, the whole nine. And the guy that was going to fix all these problems, or said he was at the very least, is not our current president. But I don't want to harp on that too long because I like to live in reality. But this gets into an even deeper conversation. This is the Democrats' chance to actually prove to the American people that they are different from the Republican Party. And you might say, well, Malik, what do you mean? They are different. Yeah, but how much different? See, people don't make the everyday voter, they're not going to make the distinction that, oh, you're just a little bit better than the Republican Party. They're going to know you're both shit. I don't want to vote for you. They're not going to come out and vote for you. Have you noticed that there's like this oscillating pendulum swing where there's a Democrat that gets in office for 4 to 8 years, and then there's a Republican, then there's another Democrat, and there's a Republican, there's another Democrat, and there's a Republican. It's oscillating because people have recognized that the system is rigged, both parties are shit, and they don't want to vote for either one of them. So whichever one says the most satisfying thing, that's who they vote for. I mean, we see it every 4 to 8 years. And this is the Democrats' chance to prove to the American people that they're not the same elitist neoliberal party that they've been for the past 30 to 40 years. That they are the party of the labor force. That they are the party of the working man and woman. And that they're not just a little bit better than the Republican Party, that they can provide something else, that they're not just an option that, if the Republican Party is totally bad, the Democratic Party is only a little bit bad. No, this is the time to show them that, no, we're great, actually. And you should vote for us every single time. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. And I want people that watch this video to realize the labor force of any country is the fuel that empowers them, or like if a country is a car, the labor force is the fuel. And we impose on our future labor force, because the people that are getting these degrees and trying to earn these educations, these are going to be the future of the country, future lawyers, doctors, teachers, etc. And we're imposing on them crippling debt that'll burden them and that make it to where they can't do the things that they would otherwise do, and as a result would help the economy, while other people get rich as a result of it, because this is profitable to the top 1% and the people that run this business. This is all profitable. And we really need to start questioning this system and questioning why we're doing this. Why we're doing this to people that are earning a higher education. Really ask yourself that question, and it likens itself to the current stimulus negotiations. How much should we give the people? Who should receive it? You can't make this much and get it. You see how they think about you? Do you see how your government thinks about you? You really need to ask yourself these questions and wonder why these things persist the way that they do. It's honestly a race to the bottom, what they're doing right here. And I don't see how they don't see that this can't end well. I could talk about this topic for hours. This is something that I'm very passionate about. But once again, these are typical neoliberal tactics. Let's just go a little bit. Let's just give them something to let them know that we're better than the other side. But little do they know, the average voter will not make that distinction. And hopefully things pick up and they either strengthen their position on this issue or strengthen their position on other issues. But my hopes aren't too high.